Things are happening. In fact, you never know it until you are told. Today's story is about a lady we shall call Erama. Now, Erama wants to harm herself with her two children because of something that happened in her life some time ago. She is married with two children, and today she wants to harm herself together with the two children. Now, Erama grew up with her father because her mother left them when she was young. So she had been staying with the father. The father has another son with another woman. So Erama and her half brother, together with the father, stay in a single room. And the father is a womanizer. The father has been bringing women every now and then. Unfortunately, whenever they are making out, the father and these women are making out, thinking that Erama and his brother are asleep. No, they are not asleep. They were watching what the father and the other women have been doing. And unfortunately, whenever Erama and a step brother or half brother are alone, they practice what they see their father with the women do. They practice it. Now, one day the father brought in a woman he wanted to marry. And unfortunately, this woman started treating them, especially Erama's brother. And one day, because of the way the maltreatment was going on, Erama's brother and the father had a clash. And due to that, the brother ran away, left the house, and never came back. In fact, the maltreatment from this woman never stopped. It continued. And one day, Erama's father came and saw how the woman was maltreating Erama, beating her with belt and the rest. And so Erama's father got annoyed, and because they quarreled, the woman packed and left. After they left, it is now Erama and the father who were staying alone. They were staying alone for some time, and then Erama started noticing something. In the evening when they are asleep, the father will come and lie behind her and will be fondling her, touching her and the rest. It continued for some time until one day the father called Erama and gave her some oil to apply on his manhood. In fact, Erama doesn't understand what she was doing, so she just obeyed the father and went ahead and do it. And this continued for a long time until Erama, got to the secondary school. At this time, she is old. She's old. Yes, she has grown up, very well developed. And one day, Erama's father introduced her to pornography. In fact, she put in the video and he sits down with the father, she sits down with the father, and they watch. And then it happened. Erama's father slept with Erama. Erama's father slept with her own daughter for the first time. In fact, when they started, it continued. And interestingly or sadly, Erama got addicted to the sex. So she doesn't complain, she doesn't do anything, and they continue to do that, between themselves. Erama's father sleeping with her own daughter. Now, it got to a point, they got so bonded and close that, they decided that nobody will come in between them. In fact, they pledged between themselves, not a covenant, but they pledged. Erama's father said that, look, I'm not going to allow any woman to come and separate the two of us. And Erama also said that, well, you will not allow any guy to come and separate them. And so Erama gets jealous anytime she sees the father talking to other women, especially at church. The same way, any guy who comes close to Erama, the father will be annoyed and sack them away. So the two of them were together, because of the promise that they have made to themselves, and so Erama progressed to the university. But whilst in the university, Erama met this guy that we shall call Joe. This guy eventually became the husband. In fact, Joe possessed all the qualities that Erama wants in a man. And interestingly, Joe was so religious and God-fearing that he even said that they will never have any sexual relations until they are married. And so it made Erama to love him so much, because he was the only person who has come into her life and not demanding for sex. Any other guy who comes demands for sex. And because he has been getting that sexual satisfaction, she has been getting that sexual satisfaction from her father, she wasn't worried, but she was happy that Joe is a nice guy. When she was in the final year, Joe proposed to her to marry her, and so she must take her to the father. When she took her to the father, she thought the father would be annoyed, but interestingly, the father accepted Joe. And the reason why the father accepted Joe was that Joe doesn't stay in the country. Joe stays abroad, and he comes and leaves. So the father said, well, because he is not in the country, that is why I accepted, because most of the time he will not be around. And so they were in a relationship until they married. In fact, according to Erama, the eve to their wedding day, she met with the father. The father smashed her the eve to their wedding. The father smashed. And so after they got married, instead of her to go and stay with the husband at Kumasi, the husband has a house at Kumasi, she was able to convince the husband that she want to be with the father, with a close friend around. A close family member around. She was able to help the father to put up a house. So she stayed with the father in the house, and they continued their thing, even though she was married, And so she got pregnant. Some few months into their marriage, she got pregnant. The husband was happy, and she put to bed, and everything was going on smoothly. And as expected, the husband travels outside. In sometimes 3 to 6 months time, he comes around, and everything was going on well. Just when Erama realized that she was pregnant with the second child, the father had stroke, and taking care of him up and down, even though it was difficult. Not too long afterwards, he died. And after the burial and everything, it happened that the husband wanted Erama and the children to join him abroad. Now the children are 2. And so because of that, one of the requirements was for a DNA test. They must have a DNA test to ascertain whether the children belongs to the man. When they did the DNA test, the result came out that the firstborn wasn't for the husband, but the secondborn is the husband's. And so if the firstborn wasn't for the husband, you can guess who the father of the firstborn is. The father of the firstborn is Erama's father. Now the husband, Erama's husband, Joe, is so devastated because he doesn't know what has happened between them. The only person that Erama knew in her life, or know in her life, sexually, are the father and the husband. Apart from these two, she doesn't know anybody else again. So what happened between Erama and the father? The husband is devastated because he doesn't know how come the firstborn is not his son or his child. How come it belongs to the father? Erama is devastated. The husband is devastated. The husband is so worried and confused, doesn't know what to do. He's drinking. Erama too is in a mess, because this is a disgrace for people to hear that she has given birth to a child for the father. It's a big disgrace. This is the predicament of Erama. But I must say that this issue, when it came out, was successfully settled. Counseling was done for them, and as I speak now, the two, Erama and the husband, are together in a very peaceful and joyful way. They are back together. They have actually adopted the father's son. Rama has adopted her own son with the father, and they are staying together because all that happened was against Rama. She doesn't know. She was lured into it by the father. And that is it. Mothers should be careful when they are leaving their children, especially their girl child, to some fathers. Not all fathers are like that. But it's weird as a father to introduce your child into something like that, to be having a sexual relations with your own daughter. How can it be? How can a father do that? This was the predicament of Rama, but now they are cool. In fact, things are happening. You never know it until you are told. If you have any comments for this story, please put it in the comment section and subscribe to our channel. Things are happening for more true stories like this. See you in the next video. Bye bye.